Hello everybody, it's Feltbuzz and I'm doing the author reading for my story, which was called No Name and now is called Emperor 7.77, which will become apparent at the end, or has already become apparent if you've read my free write. This is the last free write series that I did. It's now finished, but I've got a few more readings to do of this. Okay, this is parts 29 to 35. Part 29, free event. There were things in the corridor with us. I wasn't sure what these things looked like, because as previously stated, it was pitch black, but I could feel them. There was an energy that oozed from some of them, and others you could feel sucking the life force from you as you passed them. It took a matter of moments to traverse the space, but it felt like hours. The door at the other side opened at my touch, and Maria and I fell through it, blinking in the strong light that smothered us. "Ah," a voice said. "Here you are. I'll take that, thank you." Before she could react, the figure snatched the gun from Maria's hand. "There really is no need for anyone other than me to be holding a weapon," the man said. It was Slug. I didn't need my finder of things skill to tell. The man looked like his name. Fat, slimy, and ugly. "Welcome to your death," he chuckled. "Pull up a chair, no charge. It's a free event. Everyone is welcome." For some reason, I did as I was told, and sat down. Part 30. Walrus. Maria sat down on the chair next to me. A belt slithered across my chest and pinning me to the chair. The same happened to Maria. Slug smiled. "So obedient. I have to say, you humans are always so obedient." "Not all of us," Maria said. "Ah, yes. Your little friend. Where is she? Did one of my shades see her off? Or is it my favourite pet spider?" Maria said nothing. "Never mind. It seems your plan to kill me has come a little off track." He clicked his finger and a door at the other side of the room slid open. I could hear something lumbering out of it before I saw what it was. My first impression was it looked a little like a walrus, big and strange looking. But, I realised, it was not made of one flesh. It seemed to be composed of many shimmering, squirming creatures, all of them fighting and biting each other. "This little fella," Slug said, "is one of my newest pieces. It feeds on living flesh. It has to be living, apparently. I've tried, believe me, to feed it scraps of already dead things." Part 31. Special. As the walrus thing moved closer to us, bits of it fell off and slithered along the floor. They looked very much like little slugs. Big Slug laughed. "This is going to be so special," he said. I looked over at Maria. She was struggling in the bonds that held her. "If you have any ideas on how to get out of this," I said, "now would be the time to pipe up." Maria said, "You're the one that can unlock things." I almost facepalmed. Duh! Quickly, I released both our bonds and stood up. Slug did not look alarmed at our escape. If anything, he looked amused. He watched as we ran backwards, trying to get away from the little slug things that kept falling off the thing that looked less and less like a walrus. "Run, my pretties, run," he chuckled. "I do like it when people put a little effort into their deaths." Part 32. Time. The first of the creatures reached Maria, and she screamed as it attached itself. "It burns, doesn't it?" Slug shouted gleefully. We reached the door, and I managed to unlock it and throw Maria through, ignoring the pain as one of the little slug leech things propelled itself through the air. How it launched itself up like that, I didn't have time to wonder, and attached to my hand. "You can't run," Slug shouted as I slammed the door shut. A few of the slugs/leeches, sleeches, made a satisfying popping sound as they got stuck in between the door and the frame. Maria pulled 3 of the little sleeches off and stamped on them. I did the same to the one on the back of my hand. There was a large hole in the back of my hand. I held up to the light and I could see daylight through the skin on my palm. It also hurt like fuckery. I'm going to kill that bastard. Part 33. Global. Just to spite Slug, and because we weren't ready to die just yet, we ran. Found a place to hide that didn't appear to be occupied by any nightmare creatures, a small storeroom. We stood looking at each other, panting. "France should have been here," Maria said. "She was the one who was supposed to help you get close enough to kill him. She was the one who would never do as he told her to." "Well, she isn't here, is she?" We need to figure out a way of stay alive, just long enough to kill the fucker. Want to go global on his arse. Maria looked at me. What's that even mean? I don't know. Just thought it sounded good. It didn't. We sat in silence. I have a bomb, I said suddenly. Maria looked at me. If I can get close enough, I can blow myself up and him. But I need your help. Maria stared into my eyes. Then she nodded. Okay, she said. Let's do it. Part 34, room service. Where did you get the bomb? Maria said, looking at me as if she wasn't quite certain I was either lying or mad. You kept that one quiet. Where the hell is it? And how the hell did you smuggle it over here without me knowing about it? I smiled. It's a bit of a long story. After that first evening in the basement in Grover's house, learning all about the mission to kill Slug, I returned to my house, leaving Chip to walk back to the dive he called home. When I put the key in the lock, I sensed something was wrong. Hello? I called out. Someone there? I'm armed. I'm not afraid to shoot people who let themselves into my house. Silence. I pulled out my gun and crept forward, checking rooms as I passed them. The door at the end of the corridor led to the living room. I pushed open the door and saw a woman sitting on my sofa with an open bottle of wine and what looked like a bag of takeaway food. Room service, she said, holding up a glass and the wine bottle. Shall I pour? Part 35. Inbox. Who the hell are you? I asked, accepting the glass of wine, still holding the gun. Took a sip. Nice wine. Good of you to share it, but I don't really appreciate you breaking into my apartment. The woman smiled and clinked glasses with me. Put the gun down, she said. I'm here to help you. Have you had a chance to look at that box yet? I resisted the temptation to put my hand in the box in my pocket. What box? I said, hoping to sound more convincing than I felt. I have no idea what you're talking about. The woman smiled. The box your friend gave you, in the pub, when he warned you that you were being watched. We call it the inbox. And it is vital, if you haven't looked at it yet, that you don't do so now. She put the bottle of the wine glass and the bottle down and held out her hand. Hand it over to me and we'll pretend you never had it. I sipped my wine, my gun pointed at the woman. I don't give presents to strange women who don't introduce themselves properly, I said. So let's start with an introduction, shall we? And that is parts 29 to 35. I'll be back with another author reading shortly. I hope you have a fantastic day or whatever. And yeah, see you soon. Stay more.